Hey there, let's talk about batteries. One of the most popular battery types is the cylindrical type, right? And there's like the 18650s, the 26650s, there's 3200s, there's new 4670s, 2170, 700s, there's a bunch of them, right? But these are all built exactly the same way. They have this steel canister and the battery is inside. So if something goes wrong with this battery, what happens is that pressure will build inside, right? Usually when something goes wrong inside of the battery, gases are created that are not in there. And so these things have a built-in pressure valve so that when that gas gets above a certain pressure, then that valve gets released and then that pressure gets released, right? So this is the reason why these are very safe, among the safest batteries, right? Occasionally they something goes wrong and fire gets started and stuff, but for the most part there are billions, probably trillions of these batteries now that are in use, and they've been used for the last 30 years. I think the 18650, it's near its 30th year of production, and for the most part they're pretty safe. You can count on them not becoming a problem, right? But here's the thing, there are more form factors of batteries, and one of the ones that is coming up and is becoming more popular these days are the prismatic cells. They sort of look like this one right here, right? This one looks like a lipo. So these don't have a metal canister, and if something goes wrong, what happens with these, then these start to inflate, and then they eventually they will puncture the soft casing that they have. This is just a little metallic and plastic lined casing that goes on there, right? So they balloon, they inflate like a balloon, and you might recognize that in some, if you leave we have a laptop here, for example, that I haven't used in a while, and when we tried to close it the other day, we noticed that the screen is flat, but the body is bulging. And the reason is because it's the battery that is like this inside is already gassing, right? And that's because it's old and it needs to be replaced. Now, sometimes you'll get like an old iPhones or cell phones that will do that. And today we are going to talk about that specific subject for these cells right here. This is kind of a hybrid cell. It's a prismatic cell, but it is encased in a metallic shell, right? But the problem is that because the sides are so flat, then if you don't compress these, and it's got a valve here, right? This is the actual valve that it's made so that when it gasses out and the pressure goes above a certain amount, then this gets punctured and the gas and the pressure gets released through here, keeping this battery safe without, burn the risk of exploding. But the problem is that what we're doing is we're using a bunch of these batteries to build different battery arrangements, right? For 12 volts, for 36, for 24, for 48 or whatever. And what happens is that a lot of people out there are not compressing these batteries. And what that does is that it doesn't let the internal pressure hit the mark or hit the threshold so that this can blow, right? And so as a result of that, then your entire battery pack does this or this. These are examples that I found online of people that are using these cells and they haven't compressed them, right? So in order to let the safety valve do its job, what you have to do is when you build one of these batteries, you have to compress it. And basically you just have to restrict the cells from expanding and ballooning like in the pictures, right? And today I'm gonna show you a kit that I designed. It's very simple so that we can build battery packs with these cells and then you can still compress them. So let's go to the bench and we'll show you over there. Okay, so this is what the kit looks like. It is literally just a couple of plates, some screws, all thread, or and then nuts, right? And this is to be used for these G3 cells, which are very popular right now. and also the Cmax cells, which are basically almost identical to these, right? So what happens with these cells, and that is that this is how we build different battery packs, right? So you put X amount of these, right? If you want a 12-volt battery, then you put 4. If you want a 24-volt battery, then you put 7 of these. If you want 48 or 36, you do 10. And then if you want 48, you do 12 or 13, right? And then you can do multiples of that, sort of like in this thing right here. Here, there's a 12-volt power module, but it's got 16 cells. So we're doing 4 cells in parallel and then 4 cells in series, right? This 4 cells then connect to the next 4 and then to the next 4 to the next 4, right? And this is a PCB board that I'm designing, and it's going to be, I'm going to have it available on our website pretty soon. We do have a 48-volt version that is currently available already, right? But this 12-volt one that I'm going to be showing you today, it's coming very, very soon. So I'm going to show you how this kit, this compression kit goes, right? It's basically you put the two plates on each side, and then you just put the all thread through there and put the 2 nuts on the side, and you just lightly compress it. You don't have to compress it a lot. This is there so that if something ever goes wrong and the cells want to expand, then they can't. And then what happens is that then the safety pressure valves get triggered, and then all that pressure gets relieved, and then your battery doesn't change its shape, and it doesn't, damage wherever you put this battery and stuff. So here we go. I'm gonna do a time lapse because it's boring just watching someone just wrangle with a bunch of things, but it's very, very easy, as you will be able to see. All right, so there we go. That's how this is put together. These are 12 inches long, which will do somewhere around 20 cells. So if you're building a pack that is anything below 20 cells or less, then you're gonna have some left over here, which is just very easy to cut. You just take some pliers and then you just cut them. There we go. There's the first one. All right, so there we go. That is the compression kit for these Cmax G3 cells, right? If you wanted to do longer packs, right, you can get these one in longer lengths. You could also put a coupling nut in the middle, right? So you could put 2 shorter ones and then extend it. So this is possibilities here are kind of endless. It's highly modular system. I just wouldn't tie them too much, right? Just hand tighten, maybe put some Loctite in here if you're going to have this on a vehicle, for example, or in an environment where it's going to vibrate. So these might come loose. And so that's it. Very, very simple to keep these batteries safe, right? Now, if something goes wrong, if you did something wrong or your equipment malfunctions and, the BMS then gets these cells out of balance and they start gassing out, they create pressure inside, then the internal valves, then they'll go off without then these things, deforming. And that is going to be a much, much safer battery system for your application, all right? Okay, so this is available at jack35.com. The cells are available there too. Stay busy building batteries. We'll see you guys on the next video.